Want to see more cool videos on our channel? We do, so press this bell and enable to send notifications.
It's everyone's dream to live in a perfect home that has striking interiors and state-of-the-art amenities, but there are some distinct individuals whose definition of perfect is all about making their neighbours and friends drop their jaws off with their unique abodes. Starting from living in a skateboard house to living in a seashell house, the list in this video will make you shout post-quarantine goals at the top of your lungs. So, let's get started. Number 10. Unicolor dwelling. What's your favourite colour? Would you paint your house and place the same colour decor with just one colour? Well, this is what the current homeowners did to their house that looks average on the outside but totally opposite on the inside. This house is in Hillingdon, Middlesex. It's not like any other house for sale. Every room in the domicile is decorated in different shades of purple. Be it the kitchen area or dinner table, each space is in contrast with the colour white. The house is advertised on Rightmove website and is on sale for $400,000, where the pad is described as something which is a family-inspired design. Although this unique decor is not which everyone favours, the estate agent of this house expresses that the property is being maintained up to a high standard. Would you live in this house even when the bathroom is not spared? Let us know in the comments below if you or your friends would dare to live here. Number 9. Eco-living. Are you one of those individuals who are fed up with the hustle and bustle of life and want to throw it all away to go back and live a simple life? Then this eco-friendly home is the right fit for your dream house goals. At first sight, you might find this wood and wool structure to be something out of a fairy tale or from the latest Hobbit movie, but it's not quite so. The structures of Lammas are regarded as Britain's first low-impact and low-emission settlement. Paul Wimbush, the pioneer of Lammas, completed this village in 4 years, where now this little place is home to engineers, teachers, shop owners and also political researchers. Jasmine Dale, who lives in one of these wooden huts, expresses that they have produced 100% of the fuel needs, 100% of electricity needs and 100% of waste treatment. The dwellers of these homes say that although they love their mobile phones and internet, the main idea is to become self-reliant by supplying 75% of the basic needs where they have already achieved 11% of it. Are you ready to pack your bags and live in an eco-friendly way? Number 8. No place like the West. Sometimes when life pulls you down, it's all about taking the opportunity to prepare for a higher leap. Edward J.B. Key Loco was a black man who faced adversity and a lot of racial discrimination in his life. But this is not how he wanted his story to end, so he took this setback and created an entire town out of it. Yep, you heard right. Key Loco was a rancher who built a tiny western town amid the southern Arizona desert. The town was part imaginary and part real, with a library but no librarian, a jail but no criminals, and a general store but no clerk. The population of the area was just one, where the dweller of the place wanted to create a replica of the West as portrayed in Hollywood movies. Key Loco also had a knack for telling stories, and this is what he did in his town when people came from all over the world to meet him. Singing, live music, listening to stories was the bustle of the town. But unfortunately, after his demise, the town fell apart, but his story is something which will live on forever. Number 7. Silo home. There are a lot of people who sell off unusual items on Craigslist, but Christopher Kaiser saw that someone is selling off a silo. He went down to buy the grain silo, which he later turned into his dream home. The newlywed couple wanted to give their touch on the concept of tiny living and embarked on a whopping 18-month-long project to make the tiny home of their dreams. The 366 square foot home does not have any rooms, just an upstairs bed loft and a downstairs area for kitchen and bathroom. The new pair said the pint-sized abode gave them intimacy, which they would never have found if they lived in a bigger place. Kaiser had to build customized kitchen cabinets because one could never find the right angled furniture. The appliances in the kitchen had to be placed strategically in the tiny space. The bathroom is hidden behind a tall cabinet door next to the kitchen, which perfectly camouflages into the wall. Would you embark with your better half on this cozy living journey? Let us know in the comments below as to which house you like the most and why, or which house has always been your dream abode, because as the saying goes, there's no place like home. Number 6. Hobbit Home. If you've seen The Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit trilogies, then you must be familiar with the Hobbit homes that are mystical and dreamlike, and you must have wondered what it would be like to live there. But what if I tell you these homes exist in real life? Charlie Haig and Megan Williams set out to create a Hobbit home in Pembrokeshire that's totally eco-friendly because it's made of a grass roof, walls of straw bales covered in lime plaster, and the frame of the house is made of branches. Haig created this beautiful single-storey dwelling from locally found materials and received help from family and friends for construction. Unfortunately, the couple received a notice from the Pembrokeshire Council Enforcement stating that the house is an unauthorised dwelling on the open countryside with no planning permission. Through Change.org website, people started signing the petition to save this Hobbit home, and they finally won in 2015. A big hurrah for the Haig family because all it takes is a little support to fight the establishment. Number 5. Floating in an egg. Did you ever have one of those bizarre dreams that you were living in an egg? Well, for this man, he is living in one of those bizarre dreams. One of the quirkiest living spaces in Hampshire is this giant floating egg, which looks like it's come out of a low-budget science fiction movie. This humongous floating egg is not just a workspace, but also a home of the artist Stephen Turner, who lives in this egg-shaped boat that sways up and down with the tide. Turner, with his lifestyle, hopes to highlight the climate change where he conveys, "My artwork is very much about nature and natural processes and the relationship we have with nature." This livable egg is made of 2 wooden skins with a membrane in the middle to make it watertight. Being wider at the rear end, there's ample space for 2 storage cupboards and a simple bathroom. Called the Exbury egg, the craftsman who made this masterpiece, Paul Baker, impishly says that when it comes to building a boat, there's difficult, very difficult, and then the egg. Would you live in a floating egg? Number 4. Life in the sky. Sometimes when you have it all, it's only then you realise that a big job and a big home is not the prize for crossing the finish line. This is exactly what Dabney Tompkins and Alan Colley felt when they gave it all up to live in a custom-built fire lookout tower that sits on a 160-acre land. Although the couple's initial idea was to build it as a weekend getaway, the pair later decided to live in the house full-time because they couldn't imagine going back. The iconic structure is designed purely for living, where there are 2 levels, with a living area and kitchen in the main room and a master bedroom on the second level. Since the house sits on top of 4 flights of stairs, the couple enjoys a 360-degree view of the surroundings and also of the beautiful Umpqua National Forest. Do you also want to leave it all and live a life full of bliss? Number 3. School bus. Experiencing life on the road is every gypsy's dream. So much so that travellers who wanted to experiment with their lifestyle took one step forward and started converting school buses into homes so they could travel from the comfort of their house. One such family is Gabriel and Debbie Mays, who converted an old Thomas school bus into a tiny yet pristine mobile home. They've been on the road since July 2017 and have travelled all across the US with their 4 kids. This bus-turned home has a 250-square-foot living space including a master bedroom, 2 bunk beds, a fully functioning kitchen, and a living room with 2 convertible sofa beds. The bus also provides for a separate bathroom with a mini shower and bathtub. The interior of the mobile home has a modernist flair because of its white colour schemes combined with wooden flooring and kitchen countertops that give a natural rustic accent. The family also gets to enjoy the open air with its rooftop deck. Talk about travelling in your home, but in style, right? Number 2. Window towards the stars. The sight of stars has inspired a lot of poets, people and astronomers because their not-so-little twinkling lights are evidence that our connection with the universe is far more than what is portrayed. Jonathan Fay is one among these people who always loved watching the stars, so much so that he ended up building an observatory in his backyard which he calls Bear Creek Observatory. The entire structure was built from scratch, where the dome was built from the everyday materials found at home. He aimed his observatory to look like a miniature version of the Mount Wilson Observatory in Los Angeles. More and more people got to know about his observatory, where eventually it became a community of people who would come down to Fay's backyard and talk about stuff like globular clusters. This is also mesmerizing, isn't it? Number 1. Underground shelter. Did you know that you can turn a shipping container into an amazing underground shelter? With just the right resources and space, you can make an emergency shelter to store food or just some good old wine. This man started doing just that to make the best underground shelter, where he dug a 20-foot deep hole and placed the container in the hole with the help of a septic tank company. Then all the other basic construction like air vents, PVC stubs for utilities and the rebar framework was done to where the shipping container was covered in 6 inches of thick concrete. Everything but the entrance was covered in the soil where a concrete cap was installed so that the shelter is rust-free for years. Now this underground shelter sits to be one of the coolest wine cellars. Isn't this awesome? What would you build an underground shelter for? Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch up my next video.